Good afternoon, dear symposium participants, colleagues, and listeners. We would like to present a report about Dombra music of the Kazakhs of the XUAR Republic of China PRC. Also, I apologize for my pronunciation if anything goes wrong. This report is devoted to the study of the traditional instrumental Dombra culture of Kazakhs in the Xinjiang-Uyghur Autonomous Region. Hereinafter XUAR of the People Republic of China, where the Kazakh diaspora more than 1.5 million people lives. According to historical information, earlier XUAR was called East Turkestan. Currently, Xinjiang is a multi-ethnic region for many people. Among them, Turkic-speaking ethnic group stand out. Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Tajik, Uzbeks, Tatars, etc. The Kazakh diaspora is most densely populated in the Ili Kazakh Autonomous Canton, which is located in the north part of Xinjiang, which includes three large districts: Altai, Tarbagatay, and Ili. In addition, some Kazakhs are settled in Mori Kazakh, Barkol Kazakh, Aksay Kazakh autonomous regions located in Gansu province. In small numbers, they are also located in Beijing. The Kazakhs of China living outside of the country managed to preserve not only their native language, but also a lot of valuable things in the folk tradition, especially musical art. This paper examines and gives a brief description of the Dombra, its two strings plucked instrument, music of the Kazakhs of the XUAR and their performing schools, which functioned at the turn of the 19th through 21st centuries. The research material was audio and video recordings of folk and authors' cues, a kind of instrumental piece among Kazakhs, published in collections and collected independently in folklore and ethnography expeditions in Xinjiang. The Dombra music of the Kazakhs of the XUAR has been studied very actively in the last decade. Collections of cues as well as scientific articles on historical, ethnographic, and musical aspects are published. Unfortunately, these studies cannot give a complete picture of the XUAR Dombra music, since there is no holistic vision of the formation of performing schools. The foregoing is explained by the fact that for a thorough study of the Dombra music of the XUAR, access to the sources of this region, prepare and conduct research expedition and the relationship with well-known performers of the above-mentioned areas is necessary. It must be said that the research dedicated to the Dombra music of the Kazakhs of the XUAR remains relevant to this day. In this statement, we limit ourselves with the materials and information previously collected in the folklore and ethnographic expedition made in 2007 and 2010 in Urumqi. In the XUAR, a great collection of folk Kyushu composers have been preserved, those who contributed to the development of Kazakh national instrumental music. Among the famous musicians of the 19th century, the brightest representatives can be named, such as Бейсенбі Дөненбайұлы, Қожекен Назарұлы, Қайрақбай Шалекенұлы, Әшім Дүңчеұлы. The follows in the 20-21st centuries are Касымбай Құсайынұлы, Тайыр Белгібайұлы, Дәулет Халықұлы, Gizat Сейтқазин, and many others. Dombra tradition of XUAR is dominated by the style of Shertpe, is the type of playing by nap with one or more fingers, which in addition to China and Mongolia has spread in various regions of Kazakhstan. These are the central, southern, and eastern parts. There are a lot of folk cues preserved in the Dombra cues of the Kazakhs of the XUAR, both in quart and quint formations. Among them, there are cues of the same name which are also performed on Sabizgi. The foregoing indicates that Sabizgi music existed in parallel with Dombra music, which is actively functioning and developing to this day. Prominent representatives of this performing tradition are Қайрақбай Шалекенұлы, Ақымжан Болдырғанұлы, Қожанай Елікбайұлы, as well as the follows Белхан Қалякбарұлы, Қусман Махмурзаұлы, and many others. Earlier archaic Dombra and Sabizgi folk cues are devoted to the themes of nature, birds, and animals. For example, Жорғаю, Ақсаққаз, Салкурен, Салторы, Аққу, and others. Let's listen to folk cue Ақсаққаз. Many plays have a peculiar fret color related to the use of elements of major pentatonics. The latter in our auditory representations is steadily associated with East Asian musical culture. With the help of fine technique, different strokes of the right hand, very characteristic of this region, it is possible to extract a gentle and subtle sound. Melismatics in particular has a sound imaginative character associated with the content of kais. All of the above gives the quart and quint Dombra kais an iridescent, soft sound. Dombra cues available in the repertoire of modern musicians of Altai, Tarbagatay, and Ile are varied style. As mentioned above, there were many Dombra performing schools in the XUAR. At the present stage, a whole generation of musicians such as Tahir Belgbayle, Davlet Halukulu, Gizat Seyitqazin, Sayras Sharmuhametova, etc. are followers of the Bisembe performing schools 19th century. During the expeditions, we were lucky enough to meet some of them in person. In 2007, a meeting with Kyushi Davlet Halukulu was held for the first time in Urumqi. At that time, he was 68 years old. Kyushi Davlet Halukulu is one of the bright representatives of the Dombra school of Bisembe, Altai region. In this performing repertoire, there were more than 280 cues, some of which were folk compositions, cues by Bisembe and other folk composers. In his work, there were also cues of his own compositions. Ауылым, туған жер, бақыт қайнары, train arrived, yan. Now let's watch the video file of Davlet Halukulu. He is playing own composition cue Бақыт қайнары. He owned not the only Dombra instrument, but also skillfully played the violin, balalaika, rubab, with which he performed music of different people: Chinese, Uyghur, Tajik, Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Tatar, Russian, Dungan, Mongolian. From an early age, he studied the technique and features of playing the Dombra from the famous Kyushi Ashim Dungsheulu, Tahir Belgbayle, Alpek Malikulu. Davlet Halukulu took part in many competitions and international festivals, where he always won prizes. The people of XUAR who are well acquainted with Dawlet's creativity and performing skills, often admiring his Dombra playing, called him PRC, дауылпаз күйші, жұрт жүрегінен жол тапқан жүйрік, алтын саусақ, қанатты қол. Dawlet Halukuli himself made arrangements for Dombra. Among them were compositions performed on guitar and sabızgi. The next bright follower of the traditional school of Қайрақбай Шалекенұлы in Tarbagatay, China, can be called Gizat Seitkazin. Acquaintance with him took place for the first time in Almaty at the International Festival in 2009. He was specially invited as a participant to this festival and excellently proved himself as a performer kүйші. After that, the audience applauded for a long time and didn't let him off the stage. He performed the next cue of his own composition, Arpalis, which was also a success. Now let's watch the video file of Gizat Seitkazin. Among his compositions, a special place is occupied by the Kü Dağılpaz, created based on the work of Maxim Gorky Petrel. In 1986, the Kü Dağılpaz, performed by a student of Gizat Seitkazin, Erkin Yergen, took his first place at an international competition among Chinese composers, for which the author received an honorary diploma of glory. In the works of Gizat Seitkazin, there are more than 15 cues of his own composition, such as Sağыныш, Әке толғауы, Арман, Көктем жайыр, and many others. All the author's cue were notified by us, as a result of which the book Distant Radiance was published in 2011 in 2 languages. In addition, Gizat Seitkazin is the author of more than 60 songs. All the author compositions are preserved in the radio and television find in the XUAR and were partially recorded on the radio in Kazakhstan. The original works and the performing manner of Gizat Seitkazin are very peculiar. The composer has developed his own style of performance and author style feature. The extraction of gentle and soft sounds with the left hand when swinging the Dombra neck and the smooth curling movement of the right hand leave an indelible impression of the listener. This is due to the fact that the beautiful compositions of Gizat Seyit-Kazin inherited the musical of performing traditions of the Dombra art of his ancestors. At the present time, they are successfully passed down from generation to generation and becoming the best examples. Compositions of Kyushu are preserved in the golden fund of Dombra art of XUAR. That's the end of our report. Thank you for attention.